your puppy a leave it command can be a great way to avoid some dangerous and disgusting situations. And ladies, it works on husbands too. Today I'm going to teach you a few different ways to teach your puppy a leave it command. My name is McCann.
And I'm Ken, the Cookie Monster, Steve.
Welcome back to McCann Dogs. Now, when I'm teaching my dog how to leave something, I like to teach it in a bunch of different games and exercises. And the very first thing that I'm going to do is build value for listening to the word leave it. So I'm going to play a little game here where I'm going to put a couple pieces of food in my hand, and I'm going to offer it in an open hand for her to decide as to whether she's going to steal it from my hand or whether she's going to have enough self-control that she'll leave the food alone. And the way I'm going to train her to develop that self-control is that if she tries to steal it out of my hand without my permission, I'm simply going to close my hand in a fist, and I'm going to take the opportunity of getting the food completely away from her. And then once I see that she's sort of backed off a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and open my hand once again, and I'm going to keep working this until my hand can be open with the food exposed and my dog is showing enough self-restraint that she's not going to go after the food. Now, once your dog has mastered that, you can make it a little bit more advanced. So rather than having the food being held in your hand where you can easily take it away from your dog, you can progress to having the distraction on the floor. And this is going to be really similar to when your dog sees other distractions on the floor. Maybe you're taking them for a walk and there's garbage on the ground, whatever it might be. Lots of times we drop things on the floor and we want the dog to not touch it. So she's in a down position, that's fine. She could be sitting or standing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place the food on the floor a foot or so away from her. But I'm going to keep my hand nearby because if she tries to steal the food before I see any self-composure from her, I'm going to quickly cover the food with my hand so she can't get at it. Once she sort of backs herself off, I'm going to expose the food to her once again, and then we'll give it another try. So it looks a little bit like this. So I'm going to pull my hand away a bit. Yes, good girl. Yes, good. So she's making the decision to not go after the food. Yes. So I'm going to mark the correct behavior with the word yes, and then I'm going to move the food to her. So I'm not going to allow her to go after it. Now, she did the first part really quickly, so that might have been hard to see. I had to cover the food almost immediately because she was going to steal it. So I'm going to try it again and see what happens. Good girl. Yes. Yes. So she's making great choices here, so I'm going to make it a little harder. So she's trying to steal it, so I'm pulling it away. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Yes, good girl. Okay, good girl. So she made some really good choices there. So again, I'm looking at the food, but I'm also watching my dog, and I'm watching to see what she's thinking about. And if I think that she's gonna go after the food, I need to be super, super fast. Don't be afraid to make more space between the dog and the distraction, or maybe use a lower value distraction so that the exercise isn't as difficult, and then slowly work your way up to making it just as hard as I'm doing now. Now, before we move on to the last phase, I'm gonna show you a tip that you can do with dogs that are struggling with this exercise. Maybe they're really distracted by the food and they're making a lot of errors. You know, when we're teaching the dog to do something new, our goal is to set them up for success without them making a lot of mistakes. So I have a leash attached to my dog's collar, and what I'm going to do is the same exercise, but I'm going to keep the leash in my hand. So if she decides to grab the food when she's not supposed to, I can stop her by pulling back on the leash. Now my goal before I reward her, ooh, there's a freebie, that's a good distraction. My goal before I reward her is to be able to have slack in the leash so that she is making her own decision not to go after the food. So I'm going to keep the leash loose initially. I'm going to put the food now. If she decided to get up, see, I've pulled back on the leash. There, my leash is loose. Yes, good girl. My leash is loose. Yes, good girl. So if she decided to go for the food, I would simply pull back on the leash. That's my baby. Pull back on the leash. Yes, babe, good girl. Yes, excellent. And once she's on a loose leash and she's showing her own self-restraint, I want to yes and reward my dog very generously. Now, you may have noticed on the last exercise that I was not using any verbal commands other than the word yes. I wasn't telling her leave it. I was simply letting her figure it out. And that was because I was trying to build up the behavior. What we're going to do now is transition to a phase where we actually are going to be using the command leave it and showing her exactly what I want her to do when she hears it. We're going to be using the method of luring. So again, for this exercise, you're going to need several pieces of food of high value to teach your dog to leave it when you ask them to. Now, as well as treats, you're also going to need some type of object or distraction to use in order to practice the leave it command. So today, I've gotten a Tupperware container and I filled it with lots of kibble and cookies. And I've poked a bunch of air holes in the top so that all the stinky smell of the treats can come out through the top of the canister. And that's going to help her be a little bit distracted. So I'm going to place that here. I have some high value treats in my hand and I'm going to use that to teach her to leave it alone. Now I'm going to let Bee go ahead and investigate this distraction, and while she's paying attention to it, I'm going to have my food ready. I'm going to tell her leave it. I'm going to lure her attention away from the distraction and back onto me. So I'm going to let her go and check it out. Hey Bee, what's that? Check that out. Leave it. Yes, good girl. So what I'm looking for her to do is move in my direction in order to get the reward. So leave it means stop looking at what you're looking at and pay attention to me. So let's go ahead and try that again. What's that thing? What's that thing? Leave it. Yes, good girl. So it's very important that I have correct timing. I'm going to say leave it, followed 1 second later by showing her my reward and pulling her away from that distraction. Now you notice when I'm practicing this with my dog that I'm making a special effort to keep my leash loose. I don't want to say leave it and drag her away from the distraction. This is all about teaching my dog how to make her own choice. So I'm going to say the word and then I'm going to use my food to help her make that decision. And once she does, I'm going to reward from there. My leash is simply a backup plan. So I'm going to show you one more time. Okay, go check it out. Good girl. Leave it. Yes, good girl. So that was a good example of making sure I didn't yes too soon. She almost decided to go back to that distraction a second time, and it would have been really bad if I had yes and gave her a treat right there because she hadn't quite fully committed to paying attention to me. So I just caught myself in the nick of time. It's very important that I'm looking for commitment from my dog before rewarding. And I better do it one more time to make sure I don't end on such a lousy one. You beat me to it. Get it, get it, get it. Leave it. Yay! There she goes. Good girl. And of course, I'm going to reward generously as my dog makes the decision to move towards me. Now that I've shown her what the word leave it means, I'm now going to start putting this in a normal context exercise. So, a place that's most common to use the leave it command is when you're taking your dog for a walk. So I'm going to walk her towards this distraction and we're going to pretend this is something like, a piece of garbage or a chicken bone or a piece of rabbit poo or something that I don't want my dog to touch. When she's interested in going to see it, I'm going to then say leave it, and then I'm going to lure her attention 1 second away. What I'm also going to do is actually physically turn around and go the opposite direction with her. And this is a technique that we'd like you to practice when you're out on the street with your own dogs. Good. Leave it. Yes, good girl. Good, yes. Now the goal for my leave it command is not to let my dog go to a distraction and then call her away from it. My goal is that I can use the leave it to prevent my dog from getting into a possibly dangerous situation. So I'm going to test her now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my leave it command proactively. So my goal is that I can say it early enough that Bee doesn't even think about going to get distracted by that item. So you'll notice my command is going to be much earlier. Now if I'm able to say leave it and turn away from that distraction, I'm going to reward her very generously from the treats in my hand. So it hopefully will look something like this. Let's go. Good girl. Let's go. Leave it. Yes. Good girl. Let's go. Yes. Let's go. Good girl. Let's go. Leave it. Yes. Good girl. Let's go. Yay. Let's go. Good girl. Let's go. Leave it. Good. Sit. Leave it. Yes. Leave it. Good. Leave it. Now, most often when you use the leave it command, it's going to be in situations where your dog has already become distracted. And the goal is that the leave it prevents the dog from actually following through and going right up to that distraction. In a perfect world, though, what you're hoping for is something you just saw a moment ago, that I can anticipate a potential distraction and that I could use my leave it command to actually prevent my dog from disengaging from me in the first place. So leave it can be used to prevent potential distractions, and it also can be used to prevent your dog from actually getting towards whatever they're trying to get to. Now, when you're training this, it's very important that the reward that you use in your hand, your dog feels as higher value than whatever you're using as a distraction. So today I was using high value tuna treats in my hand, and I just had boring kibble in the box below, so that it's more valuable to come towards me. The second thing that's really important is that the place that you practice this for the first time needs to be controlled and not very distracting. So I wouldn't do this at the park with lots going on for the very first time, because it probably won't go very well. Start in a quiet place with not much going on so that your dog does it correctly more than they do it incorrectly. And once you see that the dog is understanding the behavior, take the show on the road, build more distractions, make a harder distraction when you're using it that way. But it is important that you start with success, make it very easy, and then go from there. Now, if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We publish brand new videos every single week to help you have a better behaved four-legged family member. See that video beside me? It's a video about teaching your dog to walk on a loose leash. You're probably gonna wanna check that out. For now, my name is Kale. This is my little pup Beeline. Bye for now.